Hello there. So I want to, I'm continuing on my little simple read it later app for bookmarking URLs. And I want to hook up the backend to the database that I set up yesterday. And that should be relatively straightforward. I just have to import. So I'm going to use the postgresql-simple library, which is something I looked at in a previous video on YouTube. When I post this on YouTube, I'll link the postgresql-simple video there. But step one should be to add the postgresql-simple dependency, probably just to the stackage list, assuming it's in stackage. If not, I can get it from a package by adding a version number. Why that pulls it from a package, I don't know, but that's the way things are. I think it's probably just called postgresql-simple. And let's go ahead and add it to the Bazel build file. And what I have set up now is the server is organized as a Haskell binary. I'm wondering if it makes sense to try the Haskell module now that I'm thinking about it. So what's it called? Rules Haskell. Let me see if they have the Haskell module thing documented. I think they said it was in like experimental. Yeah, can't search code. Haskell module allows to import transitive dependencies. Implement persistent workers for Haskell module. Let's just try Haskell module. I don't know where it's where it is though. Tests Haskell module. Let's look in tests. Maybe that will show me the correct import statement. All right, where's tests? Huh. This doesn't look so useful. Is it in the build file? All right. Well, that didn't quite work. Maybe it's under Haskell, maybe experimental. Defs. Okay. So let's try loading Haskell, I guess experimental defs Haskell module. And I don't know how this interacts with the other Haskell things, like the Haskell binary or Haskell library, but we will find out. So I will call this module SQL, I guess is a good enough name as anything. And I don't know what a good naming convention is for Haskell, but I'll call it just SQL.hs. And then in depths, I'm going to need at stackage / colon postgresql-simple probably. Let's see if this, well, first of all, let's have a SQL.hs file. I don't know if an empty Haskell file will compile. I'm guessing not, but I just want to see where this fails first. Syntax error at deps. I guess I forgot a comma. So Haskell module, underscore Haskell module. The rule has no sources. I guess it wants source. So it wants a string for the source instead of a list. That's fair. And now we do lots of analyzing for 2 targets. While it's doing this, let me see if I can remind myself how to even use postgresql-simple. I make this go here in Mint. I do this. What? Isn't there some key combination? There. Okay. It failed, which is not surprising. But the real question is, why did it fail? The following dependencies of, I guess they're trying to do a template, aren't defined with Haskell module template format, context label join non-modules. Let me check the workspace again. I guess I can try doing a library. Let's try just adding it as a library just to rule out any funniness. I guess maybe it's not letting a module depend on a library or something. Okay, so now we have kind of an ugliness of the missing dependency. And we solved this for C Aries, right? And I think the thing there was to use rules foreign. And then how did I make it available? I guess I didn't really, how did I make it available? Something has to depend on my Aries, right? Which is a terrible name, by the way, my Aries. I don't like the my prefix on things. So what depends on my Aries? So I guess it defines this this HTTP archive thing defines a Bazel like repo. I guess instead of I'll call it leafcutter Aries. Is that significantly better? No, it's not, but maybe local Aries. Third party Aries. Something like that. Okay, so I'm guessing we'll need to do the same thing, except we need the PQ library. Now, I'm not sure if the PQ library is compilable on its own or if I would need to do a bunch of dependency chasing. The other alternative is to install the libpq in the ambient environment. Essentially, I think I would have to install the Debian development packages for Postgres. But I prefer not to do that just because it's nicer to have, as I've mentioned several times before, I would like to have all the dependencies modeled in the build system and not depend on the ambient environment. Because I think that depending on the ambient environment, like a lot of Haskell projects do, using things like Nix is brittle, and it breaks a lot of stuff, and it makes it it gives you the kind of works on my machine sort of vibe that I think a lot of Haskell projects have in practice. So let's see if we can find rules foreign again. I guess rules foreign is not a good enough name for it to just turn up on Bing search. Here's rules foreign CC. Is this what I was using? Yeah, rules foreign CC. Okay. They have a bunch of examples. I wonder if Postgres is one of the examples. No, okay. So here's the libpq documentation. We get a link. All right. Wikipedia usually has the correct link to a repo. So I think that at some point I used the a GitHub mirror, but I think this is the real place where the code is. So I think tree is where I'm supposed to click on to browse. And libpq says something about source examples, source test examples. There are also several concrete examples. Okay, so let's see if we can find libpq somewhere in here. We have probably source, right? Backend bin common, include interfaces, makefiles, PL, port, template, tools, common. I don't want to go like on a hunting expedition, but let's take a look at the examples and see if we can find what the correct import statement is. It was like what, lib test examples? Test libpq.c. And it's including libpq fe. What is fe? I don't know. Front end? Maybe the libpq dev package is the place to be. The package maintainers must know about it. libpq deb. So it depends on libpq 5. Here's the source code. Maybe developer information. It's been removed. I guess because PostgreSQL 11 is old. I don't know what the, maybe Bookworm is more up to date about SID. Okay. So the source is here. And can we find like some idea of what the code is? We can also try libpq nix. I think the nix people have make a libpq package. How about Gentoo? libpq-xx. The official C++ API for PostgreSQL. Okay. So do I get to see the pull request dependencies change log? There should be some thing that shows you what commands are executed. Manifest? This looks like basically just a SHA and some data. Here's the ebuild. Yeah, the ebuild is what I want. Got some Python stuff. Keywords, description. And some tests. The tests need a running PostgreSQL server and an existing database. Econf enable shared and something about static libs. And install. If not use static libs, then we're going to delete the .la stuff. Otherwise, I guess everything's just, well, do we actually compile something? Here's the source URI. I feel like I'm missing, this is the test. It's configured. Got, I guess, dependencies, reverse dependencies, whatever a BD dependency is. Description. Is there something that tells you what to build? I guess that's not going to be found this way. Well, compiling PostgreSQL. I just kind of want to see what build system do I need, what folder do I need to be in. Acquire the source code. Build plus install the source in the documentation. Okay. But I think that this will also install the server, right? I can building and installing with autoconf and make, post installation setup. PG SQL data. libpq, right? Okay. Well, I don't know if this is for the whole server or for just like the libpq, which should just be the like the client. This gives you PG control and initdb, I think. Let's take a look at their make thing. In source. Is it in source or is it in? It should have some, I guess, GNU makefile. .in. I don't really know how to read a makefile. Let's clone it. I'm not sure how to clone it. So it looks like what is this Gentoo is using this GitHub link. Is this where I need to be? The C++ API to the PostgreSQL database management system. Is the official C++ client. Is this what I need to be doing? Because this looks libpq_xx. Is this the same thing that Debian uses? I'm pretty sure that the Debian one is going to be whatever is expected by postgresql-simple. So libpq dev is header, files, and static library for compiling C programs to link with the libpq library. Here's the libpq library. And do we have a home page? Yeah, it looks like libpq_xx. This is similar packages. This lists the home pages postgresql.org and not this libpq repo. Is that because I'm supposed to read that C++ versus the C header? So maybe maybe this XX is supposed to be plus plus. And maybe what I want is not XX. It is instead something else. Let's try this again. libpq dev Gentoo. I think I got here from Gentoo. I think I got led astray. You may receive a notice that any of the above packages are blocked by blah, 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 PostgreSQL client or devdb libpq. These packages were not maintained and obsoleted. Refer to the section on migration. Okay, this looks more promising. Okay, this is the migration. Sleep builds. Okay, fine. What is this? I think it's just called PostgreSQL, right? Okay. Here's the Git web thingamajig. Let's look at 15.4. I forget what version of Postgres I have installed. This looks much more promising. Okay. So we've got this package config, which is going to do some things like check for whether you have PostgreSQL stuff in Etsy. Like, I guess whether you have it installed or maybe you installed it previously. It's going to check some locale stuff and do some locale stuff. What language is this? Is ebuild? Okay. I don't know what the ebuild language is. Kind of looks bashy. And then we're going to do local myconfig with a bunch of flags. Okay. We have the source backend libpq off. Do we have libpq anywhere else? Do we have pq? It's pq, right? Not pg? Here's my compilation error. Libpq. All right. So this is just some like PAM authentication thing, which is possibly relevant. Maybe source backend libpq is the place to be. So we still have the Postgres Git. Yeah, okay, so this looks promising. And we have a makefile. So can I just call configure and make here? Let's try doing that. And let's also try figuring out if I can, how to clone this repo. Oh, it's just one of these, right? Not bad. Very slowly cloning. 70%. Resolving deltas. 85%. 90%. 99%. Done. Okay, so we'll CC into this. What do we decide? Source backend libpq. So I'm just going to guess that. What? Can I do configure here? Okay, so I can do configure in the root directory. The readline library is not installed. Yeah, I guess I don't really need readline. So just doing a bunch of configuring. And I'm not sure if I can just cd into this directory. Seems promising. So where's my stuff? So I assume these .o these .o files were not here before I cloned, but let me check against the yeah. So we get some .o files. Is that all we need? I think we might need other stuff, right? We don't have just like a pq.o. the make file for the libpq subsystem backend half of the lib. This is the backend half of the libpq interface. I think what I want is the front end half, right? That should be the client. The backend half, I assume, is on the server side. So that was I guess interface libpq. This seems even more promising. Okay. Well, it took a while, but this might be where I need to be. Let's try this. Make. Okay. So yeah, now I have libpq.so. Okay. So I believe that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And let's see if we can find a way to, first of all, why is the second C not capitalized? Maybe, like that. Okay. So here's zlib foreign, and then carries. I guess let's add the pq foreign after it. What was my convention up here? Lowercase. Okay, how do I do I'll do a comment box key combination. Okay. So here's zlib foreign. And let's copy, I guess, zlib foreign, and we'll modify it. Okay, so this is the build file for libpq that we're going to have. It's going to have default visibility public. We're going to import cmake. No, we're not, because I don't think that this is cmake. I think this is just regular old GNU make. I think cmake has its own file extension, right? A .cmake file. And let's just double check that if I go to, for example, the zlib place, that it will have like some sort of like cmake file. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I need to find if rules foreign will support GNU make, which I hope it does. Although rules foreign is probably just CC, right? Do they even support regular old C? It says C/C++. Okay, so then let's look at maybe their examples again. Bunch of CMake stuff. Make simple. Dependencies are Clang and Bazel. Okay, so here's the build example. So they're going to load make, and they have this make file. And I'm just going to copy ruthlessly. I guess in theory I should do testing. I'm not sure that I'm going to. Oops, I guess it shouldn't go there. It should go here. Let me make this smaller so I can see more stuff. So this doesn't have a file group. It just starts with make lib. It has build data, which I'm not sure what that's about. I guess I'm just going to ignore cops and env. Lib source. I'm not sure. So here, okay, so we do have a file group. It's sources. But how often are you going to have to use make on code that already has like a Bazel structure? Is there a make less simple? So let's just try making the file group all sources. We'll call this make libpq. And the build data code cxxwrapper.sh. Okay, so I don't think I want build data. What is this for? The build data. Files needed by this rule only during build and compile time may list files or rule targets. Generally allows any targets. This is optional. Okay, so I guess I'll just ignore build data. The lib source will be the all sources thing. But so this is the HTTP archive thing. Yeah, okay. So this will be, I guess, libpq all sources. The out data directories will be I guess source interface libpq, and the out static lib. I think I want a dynamic lib, right? Do I have an option for that? Out interface lib, out include dir. What is interface libs? Resulting interface libraries. I'm not sure what an interface library is. But I'll call this out lib dir. And out shared libs. is what libpq.so. What are the chances this works? And I think that for Aries, I like moved or renamed some stuff, but we'll figure out if that works. And so in here, I guess what I really want to do is see if I can glob just this source interface libpq stuff. And this is going to be wrong. Let's make it wrong on purpose, just so that if you make it wrong, it tells us what SHA to actually download. And then where's a good source for the release files? Or no, not the release, but the yeah, the release of PostgreSQL. It looks like Linux Mint installed 14.9. I guess that's fine enough for me. Here are the release notes. But where's the actual release? Yes, download. And they're nice enough to provide us with a SHA-256. I don't think I really gain anything by having both the tar GZ and the tar BZ2. Do I? Because if the site's down, the site's down. And I guess let's try adding this as the SHA-256. I feel like I'm missing a parenthesis. Okay. Actually, now that I think about this, let's call, instead of calling this libpq, let's call this postgresql. And let's call this make thing libpq. Then I can call this postgresql libpq, I think. And instead of all sources, this will be libpq interface sources. Let's try that. I must have passed a list to outlibdir. What I didn't do is tell it how to run configure. For example, I didn't tell it to run configure without readline. So I'm expecting that would fail unless rules 4 knows about configuring things. Will it work? Will it succeed? Only time will tell. It seems to be like making progress. Doesn't seem to be failing. Okay, it did fail. We do have a make log. I don't know if it was preserved. File name too long. Oh no. Why is this? Okay. There seems to be some like recursive structure here. Sandbox 8, main Bazel out, this thing. libpq build temp, and then Bazel out. And then more external PostgreSQL temp Bazel out. Yeah, so there's some, there seems to be like a recursion. But where? I assume it's the way that I set things up. Maybe this really should be all of the things. And let's try including all of the files. Maybe that was my mistake. And while we're doing that, let's see if we can find any of the issues or anything mentioned. Can't link libpq. I'm trying to use libpq-xx, which is a different project, by using cmake. Okay, that's more cmake stuff. Okay, well that at least finished faster. The recursion thing seems to have gone away, which is positive. But I don't see a clear, I don't see yet what the error message is. Found one target error. Bash error. Executing. To see for both messages. All right. We'll add sandbox debug. Can I add it here or do we need to add it after build? I think I add it after build. Okay. So hopefully we get a better error message now. So it's creating some build script that it might be just auto-generating. So here's the script. This is very terse. Here's a log. No targets specified, and no makefile found. Okay. So I guess I have to figure out how to tell it what the what the what the what the target is. Let's take a look at what I actually did. This is no longer libpq. This is now all sources again. This is the outlibdir. Here's the lib source. The make rule is underdocumented and has confusing behavior. Add some documentation specific to the make rule. I learned the hard way that the make build rule does not work out of the box with just any makefile, unlike other rules in this repository. The single make example does not emphasize this, and it is important for the usability of the rule. These are the things I learned. The make target's invocation must at least execute an equivalent of make install. Since all out star parameters are relative to the installation directory, not to either the source or the build directory. So if your default target does not install anything, or you have a install make target but doesn't invoke it, Bazel will be unable to find your build outputs. The makefile must either be able to recognize the prefix end variable and use it, or have a different way of wiring the install-dir make variable through. Finally, the make install recipe must ensure that it does not copy symlinks. This will bite you if you use copy source test instead of copy L source test, since the former will create a bunch of symlinks pointing to the sandbox, which of course is useless once the sandbox is removed. Using -L will ensure that the actual file contents are copied. And we get some files changed. So I guess this is documented now in the make Bazel. Can I jump to the current version of this file? So make has a, okay. So how do I actually call it make install? I would like to see more examples. How about tests? I don't see a lot of make stuff in the tests. How about third party? Maybe. What are the chances PCRE uses make? CMake. Why can't Postgres use CMake? Maybe there's a way to do it. There's a separate thing. PostgreSQL with CMake. Maybe this is just not worth doing. Let's go ahead and clone this, since Microsoft doesn't want me to search on GitHub anymore. Or I guess I could search on SourceGraph, but okay. So make simple has it. We have configure make. Is that interesting? Oh, tree main. Okay. So where's icon? Is it third party? Here's libpng. So they have configure make. What does that do? Oh, this looks promising. Let's see if just this runs. I guess I'll call this libpq make. And configure make. Or just configure in place, true. Options. No read line. This is PostgreSQL all sources again. Oh, and then we I guess install. I don't know. Let's try that. My guess is it will continue to fail, but maybe we've made progress. libpq is not declared in a package. In package, okay. Well, isn't it? Oh, I think, is it because I haven't imported a configure make? Yeah. Failure. I think we have at least made some progress. Let's check the configure log. No such file. Okay. So, line 101. What file is not there? Build temper configure. Okay, so let's see what's being populated in this place where it expects there to be a configuration file, a configure file. Configure script, I guess. Oops. Here we go. All right. Oh, okay. So first of all, what is libpq? That's nothing. That's nothing. So I need to like go into PostgreSQL 14.9, I guess. Is that done by strip prefix? Let's try strip prefix on the HTTP archive. I'm not sure this is the best way to do it, but let's try it. Welcome to the compilation hour. Unrecognized option. No read line. Oh, that's the wrong shell. But without read line. Fair enough. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like we're almost almost ready to compile libpq. But then the question is, when we do, will the stack package see it correctly? And my guess is that that won't just work. That we'll have to fiddle around some more. But hopefully we get robust enough error messages to at least debug it. And while I'm thinking about that, so how did that work? I think I made C-arrays a dependency of the thing that imported. Or no, what was it? So the thing that imported gRPC, I think it was. It was it was the Haskell program that imported gRPC. So that was because of the way that that the Haskell rules didn't find a certain kind of library, the always link library that Bazel uses. I think that what I'm supposed to do here, because the failure is I believe earlier in the stack, that I might need to make it an extra dep here, like I did with the zlib. Although, if I recall correctly, this wasn't enough. And maybe the reason it wasn't enough was that I actually was supposed to also make it a dependency of everything that transitively depended on zlib by depending on like turtle, for example. I think turtle imports zlib, but doesn't include it in the build system. Okay, so okay, this is great. This output, external PostgreSQL libpq source interface libpq.so was not created. Cool. So a bunch of stuff was not created. I'm wondering if that's because of some directory issue. Let's jump into this directory. So it's looking for stuff in external slash PostgreSQL. Okay, that's fine. Slash libpq. Oh, it's looking at libpq source. Did I tell it to do that? It's not like me. Why does it? Why is it looking at libpq source? What if we just go to source libpq, source interfaces, libpq? So was anything created? So here's the PostgreSQL database, or rather directory. And I'm guessing that nothing was created. Okay, so what did it actually do? I have a feeling that what's going on is that somehow I configured it to look in the wrong directory. But I would like to know what directory it's trying to look in. And maybe that's going to be is the build file in here? The build file is not in there. What about in the Postgres root? Okay, so we do have a build file in here. And we've got this libpq thing. First of all, lib icon of A is not of interest. Second of all, I haven't told it that all of the action is happening in source interface libpq. And let's try creating a second, just so I don't have to keep like redoing things. Let's try doing this again. What is it? Source slash interfaces slash libpq. But the thing is, I think I need to run configure in the root directory. And so I'm not sure if libsource needs to point to the place where configure is, or just the place where the library is. I'll call this the just pq. The question is whether this failed because it couldn't find a configuration. Cannot copy a directory. It's trying to copy onto itself. It's trying to copy this exec root main thing to this thing. All right, configure no such file or directory. Yeah. Okay. So it seems to want to look for where the configure stuff is. And so the question is, how can I tell it where that I want it to like cd into the appropriate directory before running make install? Or can I just somehow make can the make target be just in a different directory? So let me look at the overall make file. What if I do make source interfaces? Or something like this. Can I ask make the list targets? Makes tab. Apparently it says I can scrap some stuff. Oh, no, I don't want this alias. I just want the grep. Okay. I guess I could just compile everything, but I don't really want to. Let me ask, I guess, Bard. I have a GNU make file, and I'd like to make a target in a subfolder that has its own make file. And I call make from the root directory, or do I have to change directory into the subfolder first? Okay. Make C options to specify the directory for make. Okay. You use the phony rule to define a phony target. I'm not going to do my own, about that. I'm not going to make my own rule. Let's try running make. Okay. So that works. Can I pass -c to the, this thing, target? Can I just do like C install? Source interface libpq install. Maybe that's just passed word for word to the make command. No such file or directory. Okay. Well, interface is it interfaces or interface? It has an S on it. Maybe that's my problem. Will it work? Okay. It seems like we made progress. It's no longer complaining that I can't find a file, I think. But it does say the thing wasn't created. Okay, so PostgreSQL, was anything built? We don't seem to have any objects at all. So maybe I just want to call make without install. Like if I just do this, that calls make, right? If I do that, oops. But if I call clean and then install, will that run make too? Yeah, permission is denied. But do I have the object files? What if I remove all the object files and call install? Do they come back? They do not. So it's possible that I just need to call make without install first. I think it's really situations like these that the idea of something like Bazel becomes much clearer, because before something like Bazel, everything was like there were so many things. Like whoever uploaded the Postgres Haskell package, had this installed on their computer, or if you're doing it in Docker, you install it on Docker. So there's all of these little things where you have like a little dependency here or there, that's not modeled in the build system. And the you accumulate all this stuff, and when you try to reproduce an environment like from the developer machine to production, or just even to like the development branch, or you run into lots of little issues that aren't reproducible. And I think that before they made Bazel, at Google, they were using like GNU Make, and it must have been it must have been like total chaos. Even just trying to fix this one little issue is turning it into a little bit of a rabbit hole. Okay, so it's saying that this is not created, but can I go back to this directory and see if anything is there? Oops. We still get node.o files. Let's change this find command so that next time I call it. No. So that next time I call it, it has the right default. So why isn't it building anything? Error. This was not created. But what was actually executed? Let's see. Somewhere there's like a build log and a configure log. Let's see if this configure log is still valid. Okay, configure seemed to work. How about make log? No target specified and no make file found. So let's take a closer look at this. This seems to be just a directory. There's no CPP flags. That's fine. This is just a log, right? We have like a script. Yeah. We're unfortunately back in script land, which I think is unavoidable, I guess, for something like dealing with arbitrary GNU make files. Okay, so here's the build script. Here's the configure log. We touch the build log, and we're going to execute the build script and output to the build log. Let's look at the build script. Oops, that was a relative directory, wasn't it? Let's try this one more time. So here's the target where it's looking for the .so file. If it finds it, we're going to CD into the build root, copy some stuff into the. We're going to make a directory. Do we actually call it make? Yeah. Here, we call it here. So what's X build root? Is, I guess, like the current directory. I think that what what I really want to do, let's run the script directly. So it can't find a configure here. So it's building this libpq temp directory, but there's like nothing in them. So why is it building it? It can't stat this directory. We can't copy tool chains. Is it because I'm trying to, is it because I'm not supposed to run this outside of Bazel in some sense? I don't know why I can't copy. I'm guessing this might be a permission thing. Or maybe this kopt-exec file directory doesn't exist anymore. Thought this, wait, where's, something is amiss. There you go. Oh, did running the script regenerate the script? I'm not sure. Let's just try running this part. Yeah, so this, of course, this depends on me being in the right directory when I call this make thing. And so what I'm wondering is that I need to set some variable that tells it what the prefix to this directory is. And I'm guessing that would be in the documents tool prefix. A prefix for build commands, maybe. Out dataders, out binder, lib source. Source of the remote repository, mandatory. Lib name defines the name of the install directory and the name of the static library. Install prefix, relative path of where to install the result of the build. Includes, there's an optional list of includes, environment stuff. That optional dependency defines data. Files needed at runtime, cops, and build data. Args to pass to the call to make. Always link additional tools. Tool prefix. Let's look for tool prefix in the examples. Nothing. What about just looking at the implementation? Oops. Okay, so it looks like make commands append prefix equals install prefix. But what is install prefix? It looks like prefix here comes before tool prefix. Sorry, comes before make. Prefix is going to be, we're going to, I guess, have some template and format it. We're going to expand locations and make variables with some tool prefix thing. Let's just try putting this thing in tool prefix. I don't think this is going to work. Maybe I can have a prefix script. So I can have a postfix script. I have a prefix script. Maybe I can do something. I don't know. Let's search for more configure make stuff. We have SQLite, which uses configure make. Let's look at SQLite. The configure make is going to just make all of the things. I don't know how long it takes to compile Postgres. Maybe it's just worth it to compile everything and just not worry about getting this exactly right. I just call make. That seems to take a while. APR util uses configure make, render proto. maybe we grab for a script. There's no script. Oh, no. So we have one postfix script. And it's just this. We do prefix. All right. I guess I'm just gonna compile. I mean, I think it's fine just to compile everything. Wait, I saw this libconf thing. I got rid of that. But even then, I feel like it didn't. I feel like I tried that and it didn't actually create anything, did it? So I'm gonna just stop here and fix this offline, and just let people know when I'm done. Brabjas Day, Clue Calais. I was able to get the PostgreSQL simple stackage package to compile the I went through a couple of I tried a couple of things, most of which did not work. But what ended up working was I just compiled all of the stuff in PostgreSQL and found the correct output directory. That was a little bit, finding the right directory was a little bit fiddly. It required some trial and error in figuring out where Bazel decided to put things. But once I was able to see properly what the scripts were doing, it wasn't so hard. There's a detour in the middle there where I realized that Postgres had that newer versions of Postgres supported the Meson build system, and I tried to get that to work because under the theory that Meson being a lot newer than GNU Make, there would be more structure to it. It wouldn't be the Wild West the way that GNU Make is. But there's some interaction, I think, between the way that the Postgres people wrote their Meson build file and what Bazel was doing. It seemed like I think the issue was that the Postgres team's Meson build file does a check to see if it tries to check to see if you have a dirty build directory, and it does this by like looking for duplicate files, for example, 2 copies of the same file for some large number of files. And I think what ended up happening is something like because the Bazel sandbox makes copies and symlinks of things to keep everything clean. The Meson build script saw the different copies and assumed that they were dirty and bailed out. So there's probably some way to get around that if you were insisting on using Meson by by patching the Bazel build file, but it seemed just easier to stick with NewMake. So at any rate, the library builds. Hopefully, it will work to actually link any Haskell library I write against it, but I'm not going to do that today. I'll pick up on that on Monday most likely, because tomorrow I'm taking a look at Ghidra, the reverse engineering tool. And by the time this is posted, the Ghidra video will have been posted already on YouTube.